Trevenant, Buzzwole, Marowak, Preston on the left with Golduck, Pelipper, Kartana, Snorlax, Tapu Lele, and Arcanine.
Yeah, that Snorlax is interesting to note because there isn't any possible Trick Room setter on that roster, and so it's just there out on its own. But I think it could actually be very effective against Jarek's team. Uh, the Snorlax is a much more specially bulky Pokemon, and so it's well equipped to deal with the offensive Double Duck and Tapu Koko. Doesn't want to get leash seeded, doesn't want to have to deal with Buzzwole, but still I think has some good opportunities in this game to differentiate the Double Duck mirror here. From Jarek's side, I think Buzzwole could be pretty important. Has to watch out for Hurricanes. That'll be very damaging for Pelipper, who otherwise isn't usually too much of a threat. Trevenant should also be very valuable if he can keep it Arcanine Flare Blitzes away, and especially since it'll be raining almost all the time with two Pelippers. It should be easy.
I think if rain doesn't happen, that's gonna be amazing. If rain never comes and hits the field, maybe I don't know. Maybe one player's like, hey, I think the other person's gonna be bringing rain for me. I'll just abuse it, and
it can definitely happen.
Yeah.
If you think your Pelipper isn't actually that useful, just there for the rain, and your opponent will bring it for you, try to take the advantage and don't bring it.
But Pelipper also does provide Tailwind support, and you don't want to let your opponent get free Tailwind support up either. So a couple mind games going on right now. As we do now have the battle starting, Golduck and Pelipper leads out for Preston, and Jarek going to go with Tapu Koko and Pelipper on the other side. So it's going to be Pelipper on, I believe, Preston's side that's going to be setting the rain. That could be valuable information to know which Pokemon is faster.
Right. Could definitely be useful. Here, I think the Golduck is obviously at a big advantage against Tapu Koko. It can outspeed and KO with the Hydro Vortex, and the two Pelippers are just there attacking each other, maybe throwing a Hurricane on Golduck, but not too big of a threat other than the important Tailwind that I wouldn't be surprised to see both Pelippers use on the first turn they're out. But meanwhile, Tapu Koko can't threaten that Golduck and Pelipper like it looks because of the Hydro Vortex possibility.
Tapu Koko is going to protect, not going to want to get KO'd by Hydro Vortex just yet. There you go. Golduck going to go ahead and activate its Waterium Z, going to go for a Hydro Vortex right now. Most likely targeting down that Tapu Koko. It's still going to do damage to the Tapu Koko because it can't fully protect itself.
Right.
But it's better than an outright KO. This actually opens up opportunities for Jarek to actually set up a Tailwind to have his Tapu Koko outspeed the Golduck.
Yeah, unless both Pelipper's Tailwind, in which case you've changed nothing.
And the Pelipper over on Jarek's side goes for a Tailwind, and the Pelipper on Preston's side goes for a Tailwind too, so we actually now know that that's a speed tie between those two Pelippers.
Yeah, they've alternated which one moves first, and so those are the exact same Pelipper speed, and hopefully that never becomes too crucial in this game, ever trying to Hurricane each other or something. Now Tapu Koko doesn't have to worry about Hydro Vortex, but still needs to watch out for Scald or Hydro Pump. Scald the safer play as far as accuracy, but maybe risks missing the KO. But because of how much that Hydro Vortex did, probably pretty comfortable to just Scald and expect to get the KO. Meaning Tapu Koko probably needs to switch, otherwise it would just go down.
One of the things that's cool about Tapu Koko that we've been seeing a lot lately is that it has a Volt Switch, but this one just going to opt for a Raw Switch instead. No Volt Switch. Going to go into Trevenant here. Going to be able to take Water-type attacks a little bit better.
Yeah, Trevenant's a wonderful switch in to have to these.
Ooh, Encore from that Golduck onto the opposing Trevenant. Going to fail because it did not move, and the Hurricane from Pelipper on Jarek's side connects onto the Golduck and actually confuses it. And now the Pelipper on Preston's side goes for a Hurricane on to the Pelipper on Jarek's side and gets the confusion as well.
Yeah, Encore's a very useful move to have on Golduck. I'm not really sure why you reveal it right in that situation. Not that it's too unexpected, but knowing that you can get the KO with Scald, and if there is a switch, you're much better off scalding whatever switches in than encoring, because now Trevenant, which would have at least taken a little bit damage, been worried about the burn, gets in scot-free into that encore. Hopefully the Hurricane's confusion onto Golduck won't matter, but could come into play for sure. And you can see how much the Preston's Hurricane did to the other Pelipper. Almost brought it down to that likely Focus Sash. Definitely going down to the next attack, whether it's from Golduck or Pelipper.
Yeah, Trevenant does have to watch out for those Hurricanes. Doesn't want to take too much damage just yet. We saw yesterday that the Trevenant really enjoys just setting up Leech Seeds, sitting on the field, harvesting its Citrus Berry, back up again and again and again. Preston now going to switch out the Golduck, going to go into Tapu Lele. Doesn't want him to lose Golduck just yet. Maybe save it for a late game push against that Tapu Koko in the rain. Now Pelipper is confused. Pelipper is able to protect itself on Jarek's side, which leaves Preston's Pelipper now to go for a Hurricane. Going to hit that Trevenant here. Going to be super effective damage. And, ooh, Trevenant hangs on. Gets another Confusion, but that's going to go ahead and activate the Citrus Berry. And if the Trevenant can actually harvest another berry, it will be able to eat it again, which is one of the great things about harvesting those citrus berries. Trevenant is able to go for a Horn Leech, now going to connect onto what was that Golduck, hits that Tapu Lele, doing, well, 60 damage and going to be able to heal back, and it does bring it over. Not able to harvest, though.
Yeah. This is a very good field position for Preston now. Hurricane can KO Trevenant from the damage we saw last turn. Tapu Lele should be faster than Pelipper and able to clearly KO it from the health it's at. Tapu Koko might be able to sneak into the Hurricane spot, but definitely not into whatever Tapu Lele is aiming at Pelipper. So we'll have to see what his fourth is if he has any viable switches.
Tapu Koko going to switch in, going to try to take the Hurricane way better than that Trevenant will, saving that Trevenant for a little bit later. Going to go ahead and activate the Electric Surge and trump the terrain of the Tapu Lele and weaken the damage of that Psychic that isn't really going to matter because it goes into Pelipper anyways. Pelipper's going to go ahead and get knocked out as Pelipper on Preston's side goes for another Hurricane. Is it going to get another Confusion on that Tapu Koko? It doesn't, and the Tailwinds peter out. Tapu Koko barely hanging on, though.
Yeah, the Tailwinds peter out, which maybe means Preston has a chance to get one back while the other Pelipper is knocked out, which would be an actual advantage unlike the mirrored Tailwinds before. But he does have to worry about Tapu Koko coming for a Thunderbolt onto his Pelipper. But since it's undamaged, it should still have the Focus Sash intact and be able to go for that. The Electric Train is going to be useful here, I think, because Tapu Lele would otherwise be threatening big Psychics against Trevenant. Trevenant's going to be much more comfortable taking those with Electric Train up than it would have been with Psychic Drain. And even with the damage from the Hydro Vortex, Tapu Koko was able to switch into Hurricane and still be a threat on the field.
Yeah, it goes to show that you really got to start targeting down Pokemon if you kind of know that this Focus Sash, even if you just get a little bit of chip damage, to make it a little bit easier on yourself for later in the game. Like right now, this Pelipper, as you said, easy Tailwind.
Yeah, completely free Tailwind. Trevenant is clearly slower than Pelipper and won't be able to do anything to stop it.
Could even go for 2 KOs now, honestly.
Yes, you could go for 2 KOs. I'm wondering what the fourth Pokemon is, because bringing Trevenant in here is not a great spot for it, and so if there is no better option in the back for Jarek, he may be in trouble, because being threatened by Hurricane and slower than both Pokemon in the field is not the best time for
Tapu Lele going to switch out, going to go into Snorlax, which is it's a bulky Pokemon that's been coming back a lot. Buzzwole going to come in for the replacing the Trevenant pretty much, and the Thunder from the Tapu Koko on Jarek's side goes for the Snorlax, gets the paralysis. No. Oh, all right. Well, there's Life Orb, then the berry. I was a bit confused there. I don't know exactly how the order of things work. Apparently, well, we see exactly how great Gluttony and those Ayapapa berries are with the Snorlax, as the Buzzwole just takes a massive Hurricane there. So,
that explains why Trevenant was brought in, because the Buzzwole was an even worse option to take the Hurricane. Now at least the rain is gone, so you're not so worried about the Hurricane. But at some point, if Jarek is going to have 2 Pokemon damaged so heavily by those Pelipper Hurricanes, he needs to actually attack Pelipper and try to get it off the field. Losing Buzzwole for free, being close to losing Trevenant, if Preston's willing to risk the Hurricane miss, or if he switches Pelipper just to reset the weather and get the rain back for his Golduck and that Hurricane for later in the game against Trevenant. The Tapu Koko only has 1 attack left in this game. He can either take Pelipper to a Focus Sash or add some more damage to Snorlax, but it was also relying on the weather for its accuracy, because we saw Thunder last turn.
Tapu Koko goes for another Thunder here, finally targeting down his Pelipper. Going to go ahead and activate the Focus Sash that you called. It's a very popular item. I don't really remember seeing any other Pelippers. I think I saw one that was like super specially bulky, but
I've seen some Choice Scarf Pelippers. Another
Scarf Pelippers?
Yeah,
really?
Ability.
All right, so actually Trevenant. Oh, all right. Well, Trevenant dodged the. Trevenant dodged the Hurricane, which is nice. It does miss the Leech Seed, which is unfortunate, because I think that Trevenant needed that Leech Seed to be able to get out of Hurricane range.
Yeah, it definitely did. A little bit confused why. I mean, you might as well take the risk. It's game winning if you hit that Hurricane. Now you can still play the safer option and start switching around to get your weather back, undo any Leech Seeds, and go for a KO with Hurricane eventually. I mean, you're up 4-1. Tapu Lele can deal with this Trevenant if it has to. Snorlax probably can't, but...
Yeah, I'm actually surprised to see Snorlax switch out. Gonna go into Golduck here. Snorlax doesn't really have much that can hit Trevenant. Maybe high horsepowers, but doesn't matter. The Hurricane connects with that Trevenant, and Preston Clark takes game 1 here at the top 8.
Yeah, with Pelipper doing most of the work.
Yep, Pelipper Hurricane. Double ducks.
Double ducks.
Quadruple ducks.
So yeah, I think that's the clear adjustment that Jarek needs to make, is either not bringing Pokemon so vulnerable to Pelipper or deciding to deal with it earlier. In some matchups, you can just ignore Pelipper, treat it as the Pokemon there to set weather, and deal with the other normally more potent offensive threats like Golduck and Tapu Lele. But when you have a Pokemon 1-hit KO'd by Hurricane and another very bulky Pokemon 2-hit KO'd by Hurricane, that's not the same situation.
I think one adjustment that needs to be made, Buzzwole didn't do anything at all.
No.
You can still bring Buzzwole, you can still bring Trevenant, but you have to start targeting down that Pelipper on the other side. If it's just throwing out Hurricanes all game, you need to have 5 turns to throw out Hurricanes.
Yeah.
You gotta do something about that.
And I do think the Buzzwole may be necessary because of the Snorlax on Preston's side. So he may have to bring this Pokemon that's so vulnerable to the Hurricane in order to deal with the Snorlax. The Trevenant is also a possibility to deal with the Snorlax. It can burn it and Leech Seed. And like you said, Snorlax can do very little damage against Trevenant. So we'd see a very long game as Horn Leech and Leech Seed slowly build up damage. But eventually, Snorlax would lose that matchup.
I think yesterday we actually saw the Trevenant have Will-O-Wisp too.
Yes.
So that Will-O-Wisp could also slowly whittle away at Snorlax, but I don't know. There's a lot of different sets of Snorlax that go around. There's like, I don't know. There was that. I think Shoma was running it. It was the Belly Drum Stockpile normal type attack that gets walled by ghosts.
Yeah, and there's options like Curse and Recycle, or Curse without Recycle.
And just going for high horsepower, at least high horsepower, you have something to hit Trevenant with.
Yeah, it's going to take a long time to build up much damage on Trevenant with high horsepower, but some curses behind it, it's definitely a possibility.
Getting underway now for Game 2 between Preston Clark and Jarek Makarchuk. Tapu Koko and Trevenant are the Pokemon that Jarek decides to lead with, and Preston Clark gonna, go double duck again, Pelipper and Golduck.
Yeah, we see only one Pelipper on the field this time. Maybe only see one Pelipper in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if Jarek, looking at his roster, realizing he needs Buzzwole, needs Trevenant, and wants something else to deal with that Pelipper, decides his own Pelipper isn't the answer.
Golduck going to go straight for an Ice Beam here, hitting that Trevenant. This could be an immediately KO'd Trevenant here. Puts it in Hurricane range as Tapu Koko now goes for a Volt Switch. Going to target down the Golduck. Going to be able to pick up the one-hit KO with a critical hit and the Electric Terrain. Massive amounts of damage. One offensive threat off the field, but that Pelipper now gets to go on the offensive. Could possibly go for Hurricane on that Trevenant.
Yeah, we see a trade here, I think, for Golduck for
Trevenant.
I don't think Preston expected to lose his Golduck. I think he expected Protect from Tapu Koko to stop the Hydro Vortex play and thought he would pick up a nice KO on Trevenant in the meantime, then KO Tapu Koko on the next turn. Instead, he loses Golduck, but he's got to be happy to take care of Trevenant.
So now we have mirroring Pelippers on both sides of the field, both with Focus Sashes probably intact. We haven't seen the item revealed on Jarek's yet, but I'd honestly say it's a Focus Sash one.
Yeah, we saw it revealed on the stream yesterday as Focus Sash.
Right. Tapu Lele going to come in, going to go ahead and change the terrain here. Going to pretty much trump the terrain that's already out there. That's right. Tapu Koko doesn't get to set the terrain again. Anyways, now we're operating a Psychic Terrain. Now this Tapu Koko is still actually threatening this Pelipper.
Yeah, so we do reveal that Tapu Lele is at Scarf.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that wasn't necessarily revealed before. We can see it now, and bad timing for Tapu Koko to come in and immediately not have its terrain. Still can threaten Pelipper, obviously. The Thunder to 4 times super effective with Life Orb boost. You don't need Electric Terrain for that. But it would be nice to have it to get more damage onto the Tapu Lele.
Tapu Koko now going to protect itself. Not going to want to take any damage at all. Maybe a powerful Psychic in that terrain. Yep, there you go. It blocks the Psychic as Pelipper gets to go for a Tailwind on Jarek's side to provide that Tapu Koko some speed support. And I believe its Preston's just going to match. Yep, there you go. Matching Tailwind. So kind of a possible wash here.
Yeah, kind of a wash of a turn, but the Protect burnt on Tapu Koko. Now something's going to have to take a Psychic in that slot. And if Buzzwole is what's in the back, it could be another situation where it is forced to switch into an attack that just KOs it.
You just don't have anything to come in. Yeah, that's one thing about team building. You have to be able to have these pivots.
Yeah, and Jarek doesn't have any Psychic Resist on his roster, and so faced with this, it may be the best option to just Volt Switch, get some damage, and lose something in the back, or Thunder, get even more damage, and lose Tapu Koko and try to play with what you have in the back. But if you leave that for something like Buzzwole, you then have nothing faster than Tapu Lele.
Tapu Koko now goes for a Thunder here. Gonna target down the Tapu Lele. Is it gonna be enough to pick up the KO? No, it is not, but it does get a paralysis, and that possibly means it might not move. We'll have to see if it moves. Yes, Tapu Lele can move, bypasses that paralysis check, and hits that Tapu Koko in that Psychic Terrain, massive amounts of damage, and picks up the one-hit KO. Well, I guess it was already damage, but Pelipper now on Preston's side goes for a Hurricane, gonna connect onto the Pelipper on Jarek's side, gonna bring it down to pretty much one more hit, it will get KO'd. And doubling up into that Tapu Lele, the Hurricane is enough to pick up the KO, so now it's gonna be one, there's only 2 Pokemon left. It's gonna be Pelipper, one with Focus Action Attack, one without, and then whatever they have in pack. Let's see if they can match up well.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the Buzzwole is in a terrible position here, up against Focus Sash Pelipper with nothing faster than it, one thing at the same speed. Actually, this, with Kartana coming in, should just be a Leaf Blade onto Pelipper and Hurricane onto Buzzwole for 2 KOs before either Pokemon moves. So Preston should take the match here.
Yeah, and Preston, undefeated.
Yeah.
He's going to move on to the top 4, it looks like.
Yeah, and looking dominant in this match.
Oh, yeah.
Taking the mirror and just having control of the game the entire time.
Yeah, and, you know, one issue, again, that I see, not really targeting down the Pelipper, but, you know, at the same time, Preston did have a lot of partners with that Pelipper where it's like, well, if I go for Pelipper, then the other Pokemon's just going to go for some offensive options, right?
Right. I mean, Tapu Lele was just as threatening as Pelipper, and so going for the Thunder and Hurricane KO on it completely makes sense because its Psychic would have been even more damage onto Buzzwole than the Hurricane. But Buzzwole was just in a terrible position there in the back.
And Pelipper does it, goes for a Hurricane, and picks up the KO on Buzzwole, and Preston Clark moves on to the top 4 here at the Salt Lake City Regional Championships, where he awaits, I believe, the winner between Raghav and Cams.
That's correct.
So, yeah. All right. Well, that's only one top 8 match, but guess what, Len?
3 more?
3 more matches of the top 8. Yeah. You excited for that?
I'm very excited.
Next up, we're going to be bringing the other side of the bracket. We are going to be broadcasting Matthew Greaves versus Kyle Hudson, who actually played already during Swiss yesterday. So, you know, probably just took last night to go home, think about their match, go over some adjustments. Kyle was the victor over Matthew Greaves. So, yeah. Yeah,
played on stream, so we were able to watch that match and see the adjustments. It was actually an interesting match because of how similarly the first few turns played out over all 3 games. Both players led the same thing all 3 games. And so it'll be interesting to see if either of them has decided to make a more significant adjustment after looking back at yesterday's match, or if both are content to continue down the paths they were on and keep duking out that matchup between Gyarados and Will-O-Wisp Marowak.
The Whack Marowak. That's what I like to call it. Guys, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and when we return, more action from the top 8 here in Salt